Hello out there in Twitch land. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, and so that means we are prepping for Dungeons and Dragons. Come join me 10:30 Pacific time every Tuesday. Today we're going to be looking at using some tokens and how to set up for different homebrew encounters. Alright, so let's get things rolling here. I'm just going to check a couple things, do some little prep work real quick, make sure the stream is running okay. So as you can tell, I am somewhat new to streaming, and I'm just trying to make sure my levels are okay, everybody can hear me, and trying to make sure my levels are okay, everybody can hear me, and trying to make sure. Alright, we are looking good. As good as I can look, at least. Alright, so my group is running around trying to find and rescue a druid. I'm going to pull up a couple maps real quick, so just type in a search bar to here it is. So as you can see, I pulled a section of the Sword Coast and zoomed it in and cropped it so that we wouldn't have this giant Sword Coast map every time. We've pretty much stayed in here for a couple years now that we've been playing. Most of our stuff is out of Nashkel, the city I made. It's a huge city. I used the one of the second edition books, actually. And I've been pulling from that for that. The city of little village of Jasper Moon is next to it, and then a couple other things around they've been to. They've been to Candlekeep. They have not been up to Baldur's Gate yet. But right now, the P indicates the party token. They've been given a clue. One of the party members is a druid, and she has a friend who she grew up with, and she started receiving these visions of this druid who was captured. It's her friend, and being forced to shape change into these different exotic animals, like snow leopards and cheetahs and things like that, and then being skinned for their pelts. And so she's searching for her, followed some clues here and there, and has now been told that the location of the person who is selling the pelts. So she also presumes he has her, is in between the Wood of Sharp Teeth and Burdusk. So that's where they're headed. There were some Aarakocra, some Birdmen scouts that told them there are several houses and individual manor type places scattered in between that vague location she was given. So that's where they are now. And they're in the middle of an encounter now, which I'm not really worried about. I've got that pretty much taken care of. If you saw my earlier stream, it's the Mastiff. They're going to be fighting some werewolves. I did not get any. I did not make a parcel for that. I might do that here. Now, first I'm going to get to the tokens. So let me pull up. Here's the storyline that I've been making. It's a rough storyline, obviously. So here's the road split map. So what's going to happen is this very powerful creature that has taken over, this druid, is aware that this party is coming, but doesn't know exactly why. So he has different scouts and different things, so they let him know that this was coming. I am going to open up a second instance of Fantasy Grounds. And what this does is it allows me to join my own game as a player, and that's significant because it then allows me to see what the players would see. So while I'm waiting for that to load, so the group is going to be coming up. They're going to find a road. They've been traveling through plains this whole time. So then they're going to find a road, and they're going to come to this junction where a bard is playing, and this bard is works for the bad guy. And so the purpose of the bard is to find out why they're there, and the goal is we get the party to tell him about this druid, and the bad guy is going to give her up. He's been around for a long time. He survived. He can always go find another druid. So he's not that concerned. If this party wants this particular druid, then he's not willing to fight and put his life on the line against an unknown group of adventurers that are obviously pretty well equipped. So he's just going to give her to them, and we're going to see where that goes. But in order to do that, he sent out his minion first. And so I'm going to bring up this. Alright, and I'm going to move this over. So I should have, let's see if my camera is being set up correctly. It is not. Alright, let's see, click. Up on top, nope, okay. So I need to change my settings on this. I'm not sure how to do this. I thought, there it is, okay. And there it is. Alright, so why isn't it letting me manipulate that one? Let's see. Alright, I am back. Sorry about that, guys. Alright, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my second instance here. Why isn't it letting me? Oh, there we go. Okay. One of these years we'll get it. Alright, so here is my second instance of, I think I'm going to stick it on this side today. See if that works any better. So my second instance of Fantasy Grounds is here. I'll lock it in place. Okay, so you don't need these character sheets. So I wanted to take a look at this map and just make sure it looks okay as a player. See what they're going to see. Yeah, so the concept is that we're going to resize it. Right click, go to 3 o'clock for resize, adjust horizontal. It shows the whole map. Alright, so if you hold down Control or left click and drag, you can resize your window. Now we'll do it again. Alright, so that's what they can see in the whole map. And that's fine because walking through this, you got a big cliff over here and cliffs over here. They can see some trees on top of the cliffs. And yeah, I'm going to be a little bit anal. I don't like seeing that much, so I'm going to go ahead and cover up a little bit more. If you look at the main map here, with this toggle bar up here, it allows you to go right into the mask mode. Makes it very nice and convenient. So I'm going to hold down Control and Shift because I want to manipulate it. And then I'm going to cover up some of these trees. So that puts the mask back on. So they'll be able to see there are trees here, but that's the point is they're from below. All they can really see is the trees. They can't really see much else that's up there besides the trees. And a little rocky outcropping and stuff, and they can see that. Alright, so I'm just being really particular. It's not really that important, but they can point is they can see some trees and they can see some things up here. But not much else. So now I'm going to hold down Shift to expose some of these lines because I didn't do a very good job of outlining these rocks. There we go. There we go. Alright, so that's the concept anyway. So the reason I was working on this at all is because he's then going to communicate with his boss. So he's going to jump down, talk to them, and then I'm going to have a sending circle over here on the side so he can just go over there and step inside the circle. Everything is ready to go. He's got his ritual all set up. So I'm going into my spell tokens. I have some simple aura tokens, so I can just put a circle over there if I don't find any spells that'll work for me. So for example, let's say he's an elf, he's a bard, so we'll say purple. Why not? Have some fun with the purple. So I'm going to throw the purple over there. Shouldn't need to be more than 5 feet, so we'll say it's there. And then now we'll look at my spells and see if I have something better than what that is. Let's see. There it is. Dungeons and Dragons spell tokens. Small. We go. Alright, so I've got all these tokens to choose from. What is that? That's supposed to be, oh, that's a hand. Okay, so these type of, I like these. This is like an aura. It's just some fancy scribblings. This is as like a pentagram. I don't really need that. What is this? This is fear. Yeah, I like those. I think I'm gonna go with those. So we don't need like a pentagram or to trap anything or anything. We're just doing a. This one is sleet storm. So that's just fiery stuff. This might work. What is this? Zone of truth. So I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with the green one. Green on green might be a little hard to see, so we'll go with the yellow one. So we're gonna see A little flowery and stuff. Interesting. So let's see what this one looks like. Also a flower. This one. Come on. It's a tree. So I'm going to stick with what I got. That's fine. That'll work. And this way, it'll just give him something to step into when he's ready to go and communicate. And he can talk to them, talk to his boss. Boy, these things are getting tricky today. There we go. Alright, so throw it down over here. Boom. I'm actually going to do both. I think I'm going to do both. Let's, so we'll have the purple one out, and that way when we do, so we'll go ahead and unmask this. We're still in mask mode. You can tell because of the eye on the cursor. That tells you you're in mask mode, so just so you can see a little bit better what's going on. I typically just stumble through it, but so let's go ahead and move this guy. So you have to wait till it becomes a hand. As you can see, I was having issues before. Boy, this one is tricky. So we'll zoom in a little bit more. Problem is because it's a clear token type, it's a little difficult. There we go. So now we move right in the middle here. Boom. So now we've got this purple thing with these drawings in it. And it's not really important to tell what it is. It's just that it looks like some sort of ritual. That's the whole point. So now we'll mask it again by holding Control. Boom. Alright, so it's there. It's ready to go. If I wanted to, I could go right click. I do want to make sure, yeah, so you can see by looking at my player view, it's not exposed. I could change the visibility to where it's always visible, and now, poof, it's there. So I don't want to do that. And I'm just going to make it mask sensibility. So when the map exposes it, so again, oof, see, now you can see it. And so it's based on the map, on the visibility of the mask. Alright, so that's good. We are ready to go with that. So the concept is, the plan is, they're going to talk to him. He's going to try to get as much information from them as he can. And then he's going to talk to his boss. And if they do tell him why they're actually there, then he's going to tell his boss that. And his boss is going to tell him, okay, I agree. Here's the girl. And go away. So we'll see how that plays out. Alright, so this encounter is ready. Do I have the bard itself? Let's see. I have a picture of the bard. There he is. I don't expect them to fight. I really hope they don't. But let's take a look and see if there is any kind of bard. What level is he? He is a challenge 2. He's a 4th level spellcaster. Yeah, that works for me. I'm good with that. So I'm going to throw him into my storyline. So I've got Always gotta unlock it. And then, so I'm gonna throw my bard here. I like to label it for myself just because sometimes, so map, encounter, NPC. I have done some conversions for Fantasy Grounds, different modules and things that people have made, and so we always do that for if you purchase any module or use the ones that come for free, the sample, you'll see that they do that. Simply because the icon is all the same. So this way, so just there we go. All right. So I've got the bard there, and then I'm also going to put a link to the bard himself here. So I've got 3 links. I've got the picture, the NPC stat block, and the storyline itself. So those are the 3 links I have here. I think just for fun, I'm going to make this. So if you right click on the link itself, I can make the link shareable. He turned green, and what happens then, if I turn back on my player map, so now there is a link here in the players, and the players will then be able to click this. See, and they can pull up the map themselves, the picture themselves. Cool. So I don't like to share huge pictures with my group. There we go. Alright, so alright, I'll just check and see what size it came across. Close it. Alright, so we are set with that. If he's going to have a loot, I don't expect them to fight. My group is anything but murder hobos, especially if it's any kind of animal. They are very reluctant to kill animals at all. They've rescued trolls, baby trolls before. They've rescued. They've stopped from killing. If it's like I said, if it's an animal, unless it's continuing to attack them, they will do their best to not kill it. So, I've also thrown a lot of things that look evil or look bad against them, and they have learned not to kill things on sight. So, when it's a friendly looking creature, I don't expect them to attack. And he's not going to give them any reason. If I need to, I can just make a parcel. I can just add it into the party sheet, just throw some items, a loot, and some gold and leather armor and stuff. So I'm not real worried about his parcel. He's actually wearing chain shirt, so yeah, just throw a chain shirt into the party sheet. Here's the party sheet. Into the inventory of the party sheet. And so he's set. We are ready to go with him. Right now they're in the middle of a fight with... Okay, that's that one. Corpse flower. I don't really expect that. Okay, so that's a different one. Right now they're in a fight with werewolves. I did not set up a parcel for this, so I'm going to go ahead and last time I was here, they are going to come up. There are some orcs that are going to come I don't need this note anymore, so I'm going to say a few minutes after the fight. A warband of orcs arrive. As I mentioned in my last stream, these are their friends. It's a good sized party of orcs going to hunt these werewolves. And so that's just an encounter thing. I mean, a role-playing thing, because, as I mentioned, they're friends with this tribe. I've interacted with them before. All right, so here are the werewolves. So for these werewolves, we're gonna open up the parcels first, and then we're going to go to the group. I'm just gonna change this because I've been calling it Wednesdays because that's when we play, and everything else, my encounters and my story, is set up under Wednesdays. So just to be consistent, we go to Wednesdays. Alright, so the way I like to do it is I like to have this be the name of the parcel. So I'm going to right click on the parcels to create a new one. Then just paste the name here, and then this is the woodland path. Or the encounter itself is to the jailers, but I have multiple ones, so I'm just going to do woodland path. Alright, so we got woodland path. So these wolves, dire werewolves, he's the leader, and he's got 5 werewolves with him. They eat a lot, so they don't really need a lot of weapons themselves. I'm not going to give him any kind of magical weapon, but the dire werewolf does want to keep his pack under control. And so I'm going to give him a special weapon that he doesn't use against the party, but I'm going to give him a silver laced whip, so he can show dominance. And he's also going to have like a silver dagger or a silver long sword or something. Let's open him up. He has bite, or he only has a bite and a claw. Okay. So I have a druid shape changer in a group. So what I'm actually going to do is, in order to assert dominance with his pack, I'm going to give the dire werewolf a, we'll say it's like a bracelet, or maybe even an anklet, that imbues his attacks with the silvered condition, silvered property. So even when he's a werewolf, his attacks have, his claws and his bite are like silver. So I'm also going to make a whip, like I said. So we'll go over to items. We're going to start with the whips. Let's see what kind of whip we have in thing. Bunch of different whips. A whip arm blade. Let's see, what is this? Designed to integrate with the forearm of a warforged. Okay, so magical whips is not magical. It's just going to be silver. What is a basic whip? Alright, so it's a longer whip. It's only does 1d2. It's not really a combat whip. This is just a basic whip used like to whip horses and things, so it's longer. But these are combat whips. So it has metal blades and barbs braided in leather strands, making it a weapon suitable for combat. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy it. So to copy it, you grab it, pull it down just a bit, and let go. And now you have your copy. So I'm going to open it, unlock it, and make it silvered whip. Now I believe it adds 25 gold. So we'll open up the dagger and a long sword. 200. Silver daggers only cost 6 gold. What about the short sword? 15. Okay, boy, they screwed that up. Wow. Alright, so I'm just going to say it's worth, there's just small silvered filaments, but it's not necessarily the amount, the weight of the silver that makes it expensive, but crafting it into like threads that can be woven into the whip, and the small hooked and barbs and things being placed over steel, so it's more the craftsmanship is going to make it worth 50 more gold, so we're going to say it's 52 cost. And the reason I opened up these other was to look at the explanation, but there is nothing on here. They don't have any kind of explanation or properties, so I will make it up myself. So I don't know why it says typically, so I'm going to get rid of that. So the business end of this whip has tiny, so instead of I'm going to put tiny silver coated metal barbs, blades and barbs. And so now giving it the property silvered. Make sure that's correct. Oh, just silver. And the damage. Yeah, so that was my mistake. Yep, so it goes under damage silver. So up here it goes comma silver. Alright, so now, so we throw that into the thing here. I'm going to go, so I have from the DMG, the Dungeon Master's Guide has tables. So if you go into your tables, you can click on just the Dungeon Master's Guide. I just need to find it. DMG. So there's lots of different for the DMG. So here's treasure. So it has all these different types of tables for these types of treasures. And what I look for, or what I'm using, is the individual treasure challenge 5 to 10, because that's what we're in right now. And this will then, so that's the individual treasure. There's also treasure hoards, which you can find, which is later on. Treasure hoard for if you think that the creature they're fighting would have a big horde. This is a traveling band of werewolves, so they don't have a treasure hoard. But what I've done is, because I use this so much and I do a lot of homebrew myself, I grabbed this table and pulled it down into my shortcut bar. And real quick, I mentioned it before, but shortcut bars can be accessed by just clicking it or hitting the F or the representative F key. So this is in slot 7. If I hit F7, pulls it up. Slot 4, for example, on mine has a percentile, which I use a lot. So I just hit F4 and it rolls percentile for me. And with the hotkeys, you can then hold down Control. It gives you 12 more. Hold down Alt, gives you a third 12. Hold down Shift. So that's a total of 48 hotkeys you can have. But then you can also combine it. So Control Shift, Shift Alt, and Control Alt gives you something in the area of 140 something. I forget exactly what the number is, but well over 100 different quick slots you can use on the bottom. So I'm going to do this. There's 5 of them. I'm going to say 3 of them will have treasure. So right now I'm just sticking into the chat because I don't need a parcel. I already have a parcel. So boom. I don't like copper. A werewolf would not be carrying 1,600 copper. So we're just going to ignore that. 20 EP. I like that. That's cool. Nobody uses Electrum very much. I like it. So almost exactly the same thing. So we're going to make that. And then last one. Yeah, almost the same roll. Out of 100%, I got 24, 23, and 18. Wow. That is consistency. Wow, that is pretty amazing. The odds of coming up with that. That's pretty cool. All right, so instead of having 70 Electrum, I'm going to change this last Electrum into 20 gold, which is the equivalent. And just because I don't like everything being so even, I'm going to make it 31 gold. Alright, so now we got the whip. So now we're going to make the magic item. So go back into my items. That's why I was keeping up. And so I'm trying to think of what the party has already. It could be anything that a male would wear. It could be a bracelet, like I said, a bracelet, an amulet, even a cloak. But I think, let me check my character. See what she has. So I'm checking, here it is, equipped. She had a dagger equipped. Why? I don't know. And that was the other thing I needed to do, is she found some herbs. So I need to add those to her party sheet, to her items. So she has the Total Shield of Missile Attraction. So it's a shield made from the back of a turtle. She has a Staff of Withering. Do either of those require attunement? Yes. So I'm going to mark this as attuned. This also requires attunement. Breastplate of Poison Resistance shouldn't. It does. Wow, okay. So she has 3 attuned items. She doesn't have any rings. She doesn't have any Alright, so yeah, it doesn't look like she has anything else. Okay. So we're just going to right click on her. Just to minimize her. Alright, so I'm going to make it a ring. Actually a 2-fingered ring. I've always liked those. So it's just a ring that fits over 2 fingers. And alright, lots and lots of rings. Let's see. I'm going to say it's about like an uncommon. So not like an uncommon magic item. So I have here magic items. Again, it's a link from the Dungeon Master's Guide reference manual. If you come down here to the Dungeon Master's Guide and then go to reference manual, this is like having the book itself. So you have access to all these different things. And then, oh no, I'm sorry, this is Dungeon Guide Maps. It's a map pack. Never mind. I was like, I've done this before. Why is it making me a liar? Alright, so we were looking for the Dungeon Master's Guide. He is right there. Okay, sorry about that. So now we look at the reference manual. You will then see it's like having the actual book. This is magic items, which I think is here. Yes, so if you go into treasure, magic items, you can then, again, there's an eye, you can click it to open it up, and then you can share it with the group, with your players if you want. So now, as you can see, my player has access to it. And what I do, because I like having this so I don't have to do what I just did every time, I throw it into a quick slot, and this gives me the prices. In my quick slot down here, I have the code for telling Fantasy Grounds to make a roll. So because I'm making it an uncommon magic item, I'm gonna roll the value of it. So it's /DIE, and then I'm telling it to roll. It's a 400 point difference there. So I'm going to do 1d400 plus 100. So that'll give me the range. That'll give me the range of 101 to 500. Nice, 470. Okay, so oh, I didn't start it yet. So my new magic item is going to be worth 170. 470, I mean. So I accidentally closed the items. So I'm going to go back to ring. I made a ring before. Let's see, a healer's ring, gold-plated ring, set with bloodstones. That's pretty cool looking. How much is it worth? 250. How much is the gold-plated ring worth? That's worth, depicting a smiley face, really? Alright, well, I don't like that. That's silly. So I'm just looking for a ring that I'm just going to copy like I did before. These are all, here we go. Ring of, okay. That's what I should have done in the first place. So let's say, and I want to find an uncommon one. So I think free action is uncommon. It is a 500 to 501. Nope, that's not uncommon. That is rare. Jumping, is that uncommon? There we go. Uncommon. So we're going to make this ring of jumping. Grab it, pull it down, let go. And then we're going to open it. Open it. So the non-ID, this is going to be a two-fingered ring. Two-fingered ring. Alright, so I don't have a, I'm going to share this real quick to see. I don't really know what the players see. Let's check it out. So the players see when they do see the notes. Okay. Nice. So we're going to go ahead and put in, it's a fairly plain ring made of gold. With a moon scratched into the surface with a crescent moon scratched into the surface. Alright, so two-fingered silver ring with crescent moon. This is going to be called Ring of. So it basically just allows you to, while shape changed, your natural weapons are silvered. Is there another name for silver? I'm just going to put silveriness for the second. Getting caught up on a name, so we'll move on. The cost is 470. Get rid of that while wearing this ring. Your wild shapes. Wearing this ring. Your natural weapon attacks while in wild shape gain the silver damage property. While wearing this ring, your natural weapon attacks while in wild shape gain the silver. Alright, so while wearing this ring and in wild shape form, your natural weapon attacks gain the silver damage property. Okay. Alright, so real quick, I'm going to check, ask the Google if there's a synonym for silver. Don't know if there is, but let's see. Silverware, flatware, coins, plate. Parker's my dog. What's up, buddy? All right. Or how about a different language? All right, so silvery is argent. A-R-G-E-N-T. So let's see exactly, specifically what that means. A-R-G-E-N-T. So Argentium silver is a brand of modern tarnished silver-resistant silver alloys. Sterling silver. I could just have it be a sterling ring. I like that. There we go. That works. So it's a sterling ring. So, he likes to get behind me in my chair. So is the sterling ring. Is what it's called. Alright, so now just double read everything I just typed. Nope, I messed up. Wrong awareness ring. And perfect. So now, before I get rid of it, close it. We then add this to the party sheet. So now, when I share it, initially, we will, didn't realize I had my extra DM window open, sorry guys. Hope I didn't cover up anything that you needed to see. So I can share this to them. And all they see is a two-fingered ring, fairly plain ring made of gold with a crescent moon scratched into the surface. And then when they identify it, bam, that's what they get, the sterling ring. Dun dun dun. I don't want to require attunement just because. Let me check again with her. Click on her, the thing I covered up. Yeah, so let me go ahead and get rid of that. There we go. So when you minimize it, you can then see what it is. Open it up. So she has 3 things. Is there anything she didn't care about? No, she likes all 3 of those. Oops, I put the tuned on her longbow. Alright, and then, so the other thing I want to do is I want to make a, so when she finds it, I'm going to open up the spells. I'm going to go to rings. Make a new one. Alright, so let's try this one. I'm not familiar with how it works. Alright, so I'm going to put item, ring, it's a silver, the sterling ring. So what this does is this allows me to drag an action onto her character sheet. And what that action will do is it will allow me to add into the combat tracker a note that says her attacks are now silvered. So if you see here, Luthien, right now, she has an effect that has Primal Strike, damage type is magic. So with this sterling ring, it'll say damage type silver. Where did the other ring go? So I know the Ring of Invisibility has a couple different things on it, but I'm not sure how they attach the coding to the spell. So we're going to try a couple different things. I've added it to the character, but I've never added it to my spell list. So we'll check it out. So the sterling ring, we need to open up the sterling ring again to put the description in there. Boom. So the rest of this stuff doesn't matter. I'm going to go to my DM dude, to his actions. So I have passive combat. So we'll make a new one with items, but this item is a Ring of Invisibility, for example. We'll throw it on here. See, and what it does is it adds the effect. So while in group display, change it to items, and it makes its own items bar. And so then if he was in the combat tracker, I could then add this effect to him. It's saying he's not there because he's not in the combat tracker. So I'm trying to do the same thing with this ring. So let's see if I then add this to the same area, so it makes it items. I go into here to add action. It's a condition, so it's the same as the primal strike. So the effect is Sterling Ring. I like to label what it is it's giving it, because if it just shows up in the combat tracker as silvered damage type, it's like, where is that coming from? Well, now we know. Alright, so target is self. So now he will have the silver damage property. So the question I have though is, so now that I've made that change, lock it, close it. When I add it to somebody else, it's the Sterling Ring. See, it didn't add that second line. I don't know how to add that condition to the spell like this one has it, because you can't. Alright, so alright, so I've done what I can. So for now, we'll leave it the way it is. I'll find out from people I know how to do that. Look for that in probably my next video. Prepping. I've got a prep for Rick and Morty, Dungeon of Wickedness. I've been streaming for just over an hour now, so we'll go ahead and stop now. But so I've got my parcel. So what I want to do then is I want to add it to here. It's got my ring and my whip. Again, I just label it parcel. Alright, so I'm all set for that encounter that they're going to be working with on tomorrow night. That's probably all that's going to happen tomorrow night, just because they have the interaction with the orcs and stuff. But who knows? Maybe they'll go quickly through this encounter, and we'll be able to get to the next encounter, which has a corpse flower, and a corpse flower is pretty cool. Disgusting creature. Has some shadow mastiffs working with it, and these brass birds are also going to be involved. They have feathers and bones made of solid bronze. Being able to use them to their full extent. They can also shoot them at people. Their feathers. Called Estin Follow. So we're going to have some of those involved as well. Here's the map for that. And when you add I'm not going to add the encounter because it'll add it to this combat tracker, but I've got the flower over here, and then there's some dogs around it, and these birds are going to come flying through here, attacking the group. The birds aren't associated with the flower, but hey, I just want to make it a little bit harder for them. Alright, well hey, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're available on Tuesdays at 10:30, jump on and say hello to me in a chat, and put a comment down below in the YouTube. Click the little subscribe and follow, so that way every time I post a new one, I do, when I'm working on my homebrew, especially uh, when I'm prepping for stuff. If I'm just reading through counters and just doing things, I don't really, there's no stream value to that. But Fantasy Grounds has a lot of ins and outs and lots of little tricks and things that you can do. It's a great, tremendous program, and it's not that hard to learn, but there's always new things. Dig deep into it. If you just scratch the surface, then it's a great program. But the more you delve into it, the more you learn about what you can do. It's just the more it opens up for you. So it's, feel free to stop by, ask me questions in the chat and YouTube comments. If you have something in particular you want to know about, I want to see more about that coding, or how, when I set up the spell, I will have an answer for that next time. So ask me questions, and I will see you later. So good gaming, guys, and I'll talk to you later.